Alright, hey guys, what's going on? It's another Monday, and you know guys don't know what that means. It's another murderous Monday. In today's case, we're going to be looking at, and I'll upload every Monday, hence the name of the channel. And the next killer that I will be talking about is the GSK killer, Joesph James DeAngelo. Who was he? What was his early life like, and why and how did he become so evil? I will answer that and more in this video as I take you down the perspective mind of a serial killer. Now, before we get this video started, we're in a long one for today. We're in a pretty much of a doozy one today. And if you guys do not want to hear about serial killing, serial rapist, burglar, peeping Tom, yeah, I guess killing and raping, I'd say click off this video. But anyone else who wants to do it, I guess just stick with me. This is gonna definitely be over an hour probably. Alright, so here we go. Take it away. Joesph James DeAngelo Jr., born November 8th, 1945, and he is currently still alive. I think he's 79, I think. Yeah, he's 79. Because my grandma's 81 and she was born 43, yeah. Or 78, I don't know. I mean, 80, I don't know. Yeah, but Joesph James DeAngelo, born November 8th, 1945, is an American former police officer, which we did not see that coming, serial killer, serial rapist, burglar, peeping Tom, and former mechanic who committed at least 13 murders, 51 rapes, and 120 burglaries across California between 1974 to 1986. He is responsible for 3 known separate crimes sprees throughout the state of each, which spawned a different nickname in the press before it became evident that they were committed by the same person in the San Quentin Valley. No, in the San Joaquin Valley. I don't know what it is. San Quentin's the prison. DeAngelo is known as, in the San Joaquin Valley, DeAngelo was known as the Vigilia Ransacker from 1974 to 76, before moving to the Sacramento area, where he became known as the East Area Rapist from 1976 to 79, and was linked by modus operandi, which I don't know what that means. 2 additional attacks in Stockton, Modesto, and Contra Costa County. DeAngelo committed serial murders in Santa Barbara, Ventura, and Orange counties from 1979. Yeah, from 1979 to 1986, and was the original Night Stalker. And later, the original Night Stalker was Richard Ramirez, a later serial killer who became known as the Night Stalker. He is believed to have taunted and threatened both victims and police via obscene phone calls and possibly written communications. During the decades-long investigation, several suspects were cleared through DNA evidence, alibis, or other investigative methods. In 2001, the combined acronym EARONS came into use after DNA testing indicated that the East Area rapist and the original Night Stalker were the same person, even though that they weren't. This case was a factor in the establishment of California's DNA database, which collects DNA from all accused and convicted felons in California, and has been called second only to Virginia's ineffectiveness in solving cold cases. In an attempt to increase awareness, crime writer Michelle McNamara coined the name the Golden State Killer in early 2013, which is what we know today. On June 15th, 2016, the FBI and local law enforcement agencies held a news conference to announce a renewed nationwide effort offering a $50,000 reward for the Golden State Killer's capture. On April 24th, 2018, California authorities charged 72-year-old D'Angelo with 8 counts of first-degree murder, based upon DNA evidence. Investigators had identified members of D'Angelo's family through forensic genetic genealogy. This was also the first announcement connecting to the Vizsla ransacker crimes to D'Angelo. Owing to California's statute of limitations on pre-2017 rape cases, D'Angelo cannot be charged with the rapes he had committed in the 70s, but was charged in August 2018 with 13 related kidnappings and abduction attempts. On June 29th, 2020, D'Angelo pled guilty to multiple counts of murder and kidnapping as part of a plea bargain that spared him the death penalty. D'Angelo also admitted to numerous crimes with which he had not been formally charged, including rapes. On August 21st, 2020, D'Angelo was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Not sponsored by Wellesley Farms Purified Water. I've just got a little thirsty. Early life and career. Joesph James D'Angelo Jr. was born November 8th, 1945 in Bath, New York, to Kathleen, aka Kay, Louise DeGroat, June 30th, 1923 to August 21st, 2010. And Joesph James D'Angelo Sr., born January 19th, which is the same day as my mama's birthday, 1920, not the year though, she be dead, to February 15th, 1995, who was a sergeant in the United States Army. He was of Italian ancestry and had 2 older sisters, Connie and Rebecca, and a younger brother, John. A relative reported that when D'Angelo was a young child, he witnessed the rape of Connie by two airmen in a warehouse in West Germany, where the family was stationed at the time. Following D'Angelo's conviction, Rebecca claimed that he was abused by their father while he was growing up. Between 1959 and 1960, D'Angelo attended Mills Junior High School in Rancho Cordova, California. Beginning in 1961, he attended Folsom High School, from which he received a GED certificate from in 1964. Sorry, I'm yawning a little bit. I'm trying. Every time I'm pausing, right? That's when I yawn. Like, I don't know. I'm just tired. But anyway. He played on the school's junior varsity baseball team. James D'Angelo Jr. played on the baseball team, junior varsity, JV. Prosecutors reported that D'Angelo committed burglaries, mail theft, and tortured, and I don't know if, it doesn't really say, but it just says killed animals, which, it doesn't say how, but it just says tortured and killed animals, so, I know that. If I knew that he did something to animals, I would have had the trigger warning be something of the animals, too. He did this during his teenage years, and we all know, one or more, when you're a child, there's either bedwetting, animal cruelty, and I forgot the third one. But, one out of the three makes, if you have all three tendencies, then that's the works of a serial killer. D'Angelo joined the United States Navy in September 1964 and served for 22 months during the Vietnam War as a damage controlman on the cruiser USS Canberra and the destroyer tender USS Piedmont. Beginning in August of 1968, D'Angelo attended Sierra College in Rockland, California. He graduated with an associate's degree in police science with honors. He attended Sacramento State University in 1971, where he earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, which is pretty ironic because what he goes to do. D'Angelo, but remember that's why he also didn't, that's also probably why that he didn't get caught, because, he didn't get caught until, like decades later, because he actually knew how to get away. D'Angelo later took postgraduate courses and further police training at the College of the Sequoias in Visalia. Then completed a 32-week police internship at the police department in Roseville. Police officer. From May 1973 to August 1976, when 1976, he killed probably his first victim in 76. So from May of 73 to August of 76, he was a burglary unit police officer in Exeter, I'm probably in California, Exeter, Exeter, having relocated from Citrus Heights. He then served in Auburn from August of 76 to July of 79, when he was arrested for shoplifting a hammer and dog repellent. and he was sentenced to 6 months of probation and was fired that October. During the process of being fired, D'Angelo threatened to kill the chief of police and allegedly stalked the chief's house. Marriage and relationships. In May 1970, D'Angelo became engaged to nursing student Bonnie Jean Colwell, 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 a classmate at Sierra College, but she ended the relationship in 1971 after he became manipulative and abusive, culminating in his demand that she help him cheat on an abnormal psychology test. After the breakup, he attempted to force her to marry him by threatening her with a gun. In November of 1973, he married Sharon Marie Huddle of Citrus Heights, and the wedding was held in Auburn. In 1980, they purchased a house in Citrus Heights where he was eventually arrested decades later. Huddle became a divorce attorney in 1982, and they had 3 daughters. 2 were born in Sacramento, and 1 was born in Los Angeles. The couple separated in 1991. In July of 2018, several months after D'Angelo's arrest, Huddle filed for a divorce, which was finalized the following year. D'Angelo committed most of the offenses while he was married and raising a family. Neither his wife nor children ever suspected he was committing serious crimes like these. His eldest daughter claimed he was the, quote, perfect father, while his wife believed his excuses for being away from home. Other employment. D'Angelo's employment history during the 80s is unknown. From 1990 until his retirement in 2017, he worked as a truck mechanic at a Save Mart Supermarkets distribution and center in Roseville. He was arrested in 1996 for failing to pay gas, but the charges was dismissed. Loud outbursts. D'Angelo's brother-in-law claimed that D'Angelo would casually bring up the East Area rapist in conversation, meaning him probably, around the time of the original crimes. Neighbors also reported that he would frequently engage in loud, profane outbursts. One neighbor reported that his family received a phone message from D'Angelo threatening to deliver a load of death because of their barking dog. He was living with a daughter and granddaughter at the time of his arrest. DNA evidence linked D'Angelo to 8 murders in Goleta, Ventura, Dana Point, and Irvine. 2 other murders in Goleta, lacking DNA evidence, were linked by modus operandi. I still don't know what that means. D'Angelo pleaded guilty to 3 other murders, 2 in Rancho Cordova, and 1 in Visalia. He also committed more than 50 known rapes in the California counties of Sacramento, Contra Costa, Stanislaus, San Joaquin, Alameda, Santa Clara, and Yolo. And it's not you only live once, I don't think. And he was linked to hundreds of incidents of thefts, burglaries, vandalisms, peeping, and stalking and prowling. Visalia ransacker. 1974 to 76. It was long suspected that the training ground of the criminal who became the East Area Rapist was Visalia. That earlier Visalia crimes dating back to early as May of 73, which, remember, that was the month and the year that he was police officer, that he started police officering. May of 1973 to August of 1976. And alright, so they think that the crimes dated back as early as May of 73, and other sprees like that one of the Cordova cat burglar and the Exeter ransacker, as well as the Visalia burglaries that took place after the shooting of Detective William McGowan, are now suspected to be linked also. Over a period of 12 months, D'Angelo is believed to have been responsible for one murder and around 120 burglaries. In late April 2018, the Visalia chief of police stated that while there was no DNA linking D'Angelo to the Central Valley cases, his department had no other evidence that played a role in the investigation, and he was confident that the Visalia ransacker has been captured. Though the statute of limitations for the burglaries have each expired, D'Angelo was formally charged on August 13th, 2018 with the first degree murder of Claude Snelling in 1975. In 2020, D'Angelo pleaded guilty to her murder. Burglaries. The first recorded ransacking occurred on March 19th, 1974, when a sum of $50 in coins was stolen from a piggy bank. Most of the ransackers' activities involved breaking into houses, rifling through or vandalizing the owner's possessions, scattering women's underwear, and stealing a range of low-value items, while often ignoring banknotes and higher-valued items in plain sight. The ransacker would also often arrange or display items in the house. Items emptied included piggy banks and coin jars, and stolen items often including blue chip stamps, foreign or historic coins, and personal items such as a single earring, cufflinks, rings, or medallions, but also included 6 weapons and various types of ammunition. Multiple same-day ransackings were common as well, including 12 separate incidents on November 30th, 1974. Common characteristics of the burglaries included climbing fences and moving through established routes such as parks, walkways, ditches, and trails. Another one, attempting to pry open multiple points of entry, particularly windows. Leaving multiple points of escape open, especially windows, as well as the house garage and garden windows. Moving removed windows screens onto beds or into bedrooms. Placing warning items such as dishes or bottles against the door and on door handles. Wearing gloves, given the absence of fingerprint evidence. Shootings. September 11th, 1975, D'Angelo broke into the home of Claude Snelling, 45 years old at the time. Snelling, a journalism professor at the College of Sequoias, had previously chased a prowler discovered under his 16-year-old daughter's bedroom window around 10 p.m. on February 5th, 1975. On September 11th, he was awakened around 2 a.m. by strange noises. Upon leaving his bedroom, Snelling ran through the open back door and confronted a ski-masked intruder in his carport, attempting to kidnap his daughter, who had been subdued with threats of being stabbed or shot at. Snelling was then shot twice, staggered back into the house to his wife, and later died. After the shooting, the assailant punched and kicked the daughter, leaving her on the ground, and fled the scene. A stolen bicycle tied to the assailant was found nearby at 615 Redwood Street. After the murder, Beth Snelling, after Beth Snelling, 16, underwent hypnosis in order to gather further details. The Visalia police also committed more resources to apprehending the ransacker, and a $4,000 reward was posted. Nighttime stakeouts were set up near houses that he had previously prowled, but the ransacking still continued. Around 8:30 p.m. on December 12, 1975, a masked man entered the backyard of a house at 1505 W. Kauai Avenue, Kaweah, Kauai Avenue, where the ransacker had been reported to frequently go. When Detective William McGowan on stakeouts inside the garage attempted to detain the man, the suspect shrieked, removed his mask, and feigned surrender at McGowan, fired a warning shot. However, after jumping the fence to the house at 1501, he also pulled out a revolver with his left hand and fired one near McGowan's face, shattering the flashlight. Nearby officers rushed to the aid of McGowan, and the shooter was able to escape. Items collected as evidence including a flashlight, tennis shoes, tennis shoe tracks, and dropped loot, namely blue chip stamps, and a sock full of coins. East Area Rapist. Wait, did I literally just do that again? Hold on a second. Okay, no. I swear I did, but no, I did. Okay. East Area Rapist, 1976 to 1979. D'Angelo moved to the Sacramento area in 76, where his crimes escalated from burglary to rape. The crimes initially centered on the then unincorporated areas of Carmichael, Citrus Heights, and Rancho Cordova of east of Sacramento. His initial modus operandi was to stalk MO. That's what his initial MO, modus operandi. Okay. His initial MO was to stalk middle-class neighborhoods at night and in search of women who were alone in one-story homes, usually near a school, creek, trail, or other open space that would provide a quick escape. He was seen a number of times, but always successfully fled. On one occasion, he shot and seriously wounded a young pursuer. Most victims had seen or heard a prowler on their property before the attacks, and many had experienced break-ins. Police believed that the offender would conduct extensive reconnaissance. RECONNIAISSANCE. Reconnaissance. In a targeted neighborhood, looking into windows and prowling in yards before selecting a home to attack. It was believed that he sometimes entered the homes of future victims to unlock windows, unload guns, and plant ligatures for later use. He frequently telephoned future victims, sometimes for months in advance, to learn their daily routines. Although D'Angelo originally targeted women alone in their homes or with children, he eventually preferred attacking couples. This changed his MO. This change in his MO is believed to be a direct result of media reports claiming he only attacked women alone in the home. His usual method was to break in through a window or sliding glass door and awaken the sleeping occupants with a flashlight, threatening them with a handgun. Victims were subsequently bound with ligatures, often shoelaces, that he found or brought with him, then blindfolded and gagged them with towels that he had ripped into strips. The female victim was forced to tie up her male companion before she was bound. The bindings were often so tight that the victim's hands were numb for hours after being untied. He then separated the couple, often stacking dishes on the male's back and threatening to kill everyone in the house if he heard them rattle. He would then move the female to the living room and rape her often again and again. A decade later, police reported that D'Angelo repeatedly said, "I hate you, Bonnie," during a 1978 rape, the 37th attack. D'Angelo sometimes spent hours in homes, ransacking closets and drawers, eating food in the kitchen, drinking beer, raping the women again, or making additional threats. Victims sometimes thought he had left the house before he jumped out from the darkness. He typically stole items, often personal objects, and items of little value, but occasionally cash and firearms. He would then creep away, leaving victims uncertain whether he had left. He was believed to escape on foot through a series of yards and then use a bicycle to go home, or a car, making extensive use of of parks or schoolyards, creek beds, and other open spaces that kept him off the streets. The East Area Rapists operated in Sacramento County from the first attacks in June of 76 until May of 77. After a 3-month gap, he struck in nearby San Joaquin. I don't want to say San Quentin. He struck in nearby San Joaquin County. In the summer before returning to Sacramento for all but one of the next 10 attacks. The rapists attacked 5 times in 78 in Stanislaus and Yolo counties, before disappearing again for another 3 months. Attacks then moved primarily to the Contra Costa County in October, and lasted until July 1979. Maggiore murders, or whatever. Sketches of two suspects in the Maggiore murders. A young Sacramento couple, 21-year-old Brian Keith, not the wrestler, but Brian Keith Maggiore, a military policeman, and at Mather Air Force Base, and his 20-year-old wife, Katie Lee Maggiore, were walking their dog in the Ranch Cordova area on the night of February 2nd, 1978, near where 5 East Area rapist attacks had occurred. The Maggiores fled after a confrontation in the street, but were chased down and shot to death. Some investigators suspected that they had been murdered by the East Area rapist because of their proximity to the other attacks' locations, and a shoelace was found nearby. The FBI announced on June 15, 2016, that it was confident that the... Alright, I can't shut off. Alright, here we go. Oh, don't tell me I lost where I was. Let me just go this way. So, actually, I think I take it off the charger. Put it this way. Where is it? I'm fully gagged. Here we go. The FBI announced on June 15th, 2016, that it was confident that the East Area rapist had murdered the Maggiores. On June 29th, 2020, D'Angelo entered a plea of guilty to these murders. The original Night Stalker, 1979 to 86. Shortly after the rape committed on July 5th, 1979, D'Angelo moved to Southern California and began killing his victims, first striking in Santa Barbara County in October. The attacks lasted until 1981, with a lone 1986 attack. Only the couple in the first attack survived, alerting neighbors and forcing the intruder to flee. The other victims were murdered by gunshots or bludgeoning. Since D'Angelo was not linked to these crimes for decades, he was known as the Night Stalker in the area before being renamed the original Night Stalker after serial killer Richard Ramirez received the former nickname. 1979. On October 1st, an intruder broke in and tied up a Goleta couple. Alarmed at hearing him say, "I'll kill him," to himself. The man and woman tried to escape when he left the room, and the woman screamed. Realizing that the alarm had been raised, the intruder fled on a bicycle. A neighbor, which was also an FBI agent, responded to the noise and pursued the perpetrator, who abandoned the bicycle and a knife and escaped on foot through local backyards. The attack was later linked to the Offerman Manning murders by shoe prints and twine used to bind the victims. On December 30th, 44-year-old Robert Offerman and 35-year-old Deborah Manning were found shot to death at Offerman's condominium on Avenida Pequeña in Goleta. Offerman's bindings were untied, indicating that he had lunged at the attacker. Neighbors had heard gunshots. Paw prints of a large dog was found at the scene, leading to speculation that the killer may have brought one with him. The killer had also broken into vacant adjoining residence, and a stolen bicycle later found abandoned on a street north of the scene from a third residence in the complex. 1980. On March... Wait, hold on a second. Investigation... Okay, we're almost done. Well, not really. Alright, 1980. On March 13th, 33-year-old Charlene Smith and 43-year-old Lyman Smith were found murdered in their Ventura home. Charlene had been raped. A log from a wood pile on the side of the house was used to bludgeon the victims to death. Their wrists and ankles had been bound with drapery cord. An unusual Chinese knot called a diamond knot was used on Charlene's wrists. The same knot was noted in the East Area attacks. At the East Area rapist attacks, at least one confirmed the case of which was publicly known. The murderer was therefore briefly given the nickname the Diamond Knot Killer. On August 19th, 24-year-old Keith Eli Harrington and 27-year-old Patrice Briscoe Harrington were found bludgeoned to death in their home on Cockleshell Drive in Dana's Point, Nigel Shores gated community. Patrice Harrington also had been raped. Although there was evidence that the Harringtons' wrists and ankles were bound, no murder weapons or ligatures were found at the scene. The Harringtons had been married for only 3 months at the time of their deaths. Patrice was a nurse in Irvine, and Keith was a medical student at the university, at the UC of Irvine. Keith's brother Bruce later spent nearly $2 million supporting the California Proposition 69. 69. Authorizing DNA collection from all California felons and certain other criminals. 1981. On February... Now we just have 81 and 86 to get through. And then we're back on to more stuff. On February 6th, 28-year-old Manuela Witha was raped and murdered in her Irvine home. Although Withan's body had signs of being tied before she was even bludgeoned, but no murder weapons or ligatures were found either. Though Manuela was never married and her husband was away. She was married, but her husband was away, hospitalized, and she was alone at the time of the attack. Manuela's television was found in the backyard, possibly the killer's attempt to make the crime appear to be botched robbery. On July 27th, 35-year-old Sherry Domingo and 27-year-old Gregory Sanchez became the original Night Stalker's 10th and 11th murder victims. Both were attacked in Domingo's residence on Toltec Way in Goleta, several blocks south of Robert Offerman's condominium, where Domingo was living temporarily. It was owned by a relative and up for sale. The offender entered the house through a small bathroom window. Sanchez had not been tied and was shot and wounded in the cheek before he was bludgeoned to death with a garden tool. Some believe that Sanchez may have realized he was dealing with the man responsible for the Offerman Manning murders and tried to tackle the killer rather than being tied up. Again, no neighbors responded to the gunshots. Sanchez's head was covered with clothes pulled from the closet. Domingo was raped and bludgeoned, and bruises on her wrists and ankles indicated that she had been tied. Although the restraints were missing, a piece of shipping twine was found near the bed, and fibers from an unknown source were scattered over her body. Authorities believe that the attacker may have worked as a painter or a similar job at the Cal Real Shopping Center. 1986. On May 4th, 18-year-old Janelle Lisa Cruz was found. Lisa Cruz was found dead after she was raped and bludgeoned in her Irvine home. Her family was on vacation in Mexico at the time of the attack. A pipe wrench reported missing by Cruz's stepfather was thought to be the murder weapon. Initially, investigators in respective jurisdictions did not think the Southern California murders were connected. A Sacramento detective strongly believed that the East Area rapist was responsible for the Goleta attacks, but the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office attributed them to a local career criminal who was later murdered. Unaware of the Goleta murders, local police in surrounding jurisdictions were followed false leads related to men who were close to the victims. One person later was charged with the two of the murders. Many years later, the cases were linked almost entirely by DNA testing. Alright, other suspected murders. After D'Angelo was arrested, he was also suspected of committing the 1974 Visalia rape and murder of Jennifer Amour. The 1975 Exeter rape and murder of Donna Jo Richmond, and a 1978 murder of a woman and her son in Simi Valley, but was cleared as a suspect in all 4 murders by DNA testing. Victoria police ruled out a link between D'Angelo, who docked in Australia during his Navy service, and the Melbourne serial child rapist and murderer known as Mr. Cruel. Investigation. This billboard advertising appeared nationwide in June of 2016. Before officially connecting the original Night Stalker to original Night Stalker to the East Area Rapist in 2001, some law enforcement officials, particularly from the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, sought to link the Goleta cases as well. The links were primarily due to similarities in the MO, or modus operandi. Which is probably like a Latin word, I would think. One of the already linked original Night Stalker double murders occurred in Ventura, around 40 miles or 64 kilometers southeast of Goleta. And the remaining murders were committed in Orange County, an additional 90 miles, so 140 kilometers southeast. In 2001, several rapes in Contra Costa County, believed to have been committed by the East Area Rapist, and were linked by DNA to the Smith, the Harrington, the Withun, and Cruz murders. A decade later, DNA evidence indicated that the Domingo Sanchez murders were also committed by the East Area Rapist, also identified as the Golden State Killer, which actually both of them were Joesph James D'Angelo. I said that they weren't the same person, but they were. Earlier in this video, I said that they weren't, but they were. On June 15th, 2016, the FBI released further information related to the crimes, including new composite sketches and crime details. A $50,000 reward was also announced. The initiative included a national database to support law enforcement's investigating of the crimes and to handle tips and information. Eventually, through the use of genetic genealogy, searching on GED match, investigators identified distant relatives of the D'Angelos, including family members directly related to his great-great-great-great-grandfather, dating back to the 1800s. Based on this information, investigators built about 25 different family trees. The tree that eventually linked to D'Angelo alone contained approximately about 1,000 people. Over the course of a few months, investigators used other clues like age, sex, and place of residence to rule out suspects populating these trees, eliminating suspects by one, but until only D'Angelo remained. Identification of D'Angelo begun in December 2017 when officials led by Detective Paul Holes and FBI lawyer Steve Kramer uploaded the killer's DNA profile from a Ventura County rape kit to the personal genomics website GED Match. The website identified 10 to 20 people who had the same great-great-great-grandparents as the Golden State Killer. A team of 5 investigators working with genealogist Barbara Ray Venter used this list to construct a large family tree. From this tree, they established 2 suspects. One was ruled out by relatives' DNA testing, leaving D'Angelo to be the main suspect. On April 18th, 2018, a DNA sample was surreptitiously SURREPTIOUSLY collected from the door handle of D'Angelo's car. Another sample was later collected from a tissue found in D'Angelo's curbside trash can. Both were matched to samples associated with the Golden State Killer's crimes. Since D'Angelo's arrest, some commenters have raised concerns about the ethics of... Wait, there's another paragraph. Okay. Since D'Angelo's arrest, some of the commentators have raised concerns about the ethics of the secondary use of personally identifiable information. During the investigation, several people were considered and later eliminated as suspects. Brett Glasby from Goleta was considered a suspect by Santa Barbara County investigators. He was murdered in Mexico in 1982 before the murder of Janelle Cruz, eliminating him as a suspect. Paul Cornfed Schneider, a high-ranking member of the Aryan Brotherhood, was living in Orange County when the Harringtons Manuela Withon and Janelle Cruz were killed. A DNA test cleared him in the 1990s. And now we have Joel A. Alsip, a friend and business partner of the victim, Lyman Smith. Alsip's pastor said that Alsip had confessed to him during a family counseling session. Alsip was arraigned for the Smiths murders in 1982, but the charges were dropped later, and his innocence was confirmed by DNA testing in 1997. Now, arrest, trial, and incarceration. On the evening of April 24th, 2018, Sacramento County Sheriff's deputies arrested D'Angelo in the side yard of his Sacramento home. He was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances. On May 10th, the Santa Barbara County District Attorney Office charged D'Angelo with 4 additional counts of first-degree murder. D'Angelo made a confession of sorts after his arrest that cryptically referred to an inner personality named Jerry, who had forced him to commit the wave of crimes that ended abruptly in 86. According to Sacramento County Prosecutor Thien Ho, D'Angelo said the following to himself while alone in a police interrogation room after his arrest in April 2018. He said, "I didn't have the strength to push him out. He made me. He went with me. It was like in my head. I mean, he's a part of me. I didn't want to do those things. I pushed Jerry out and had a happy life. I did all those things. I destroyed all their lives. So now I've got to pay the price." Detectives ignored D'Angelo's initial request to speak to an attorney, later citing a legal theory that this potential Miranda violation would be justified, with the understanding that prosecutors could not use the interview against the defendant in court. D'Angelo cannot be charged with the rapes or burglaries, as the statute of limitations had expired for those offenses. But he was charged with 13 counts of murder and 13 counts of kidnapping. D'Angelo was arraigned in Sacramento on August 23rd, 2018. In November of 2018, prosecutors from 6 involved counties collectively estimated that the case could cost taxpayers $20 million and last 10 years. At an April 10th, 2019 court proceeding, prosecutors announced that they would seek the death penalty, and the judge ruled that cameras should be allowed inside the courtroom during the trial. On March 4th, 2020, D'Angelo offered to plead guilty if the death penalty were taken off the table, which was not accepted at the time. On June 29th, as part of a plea bargain to avoid the death penalty, D'Angelo pleaded guilty to 13 counts of first-degree murder and special circumstances, including murder committed and during burglaries and rapes, as well as 13 counts of kidnapping. On August 21st, 2020, D'Angelo received multiple consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. D'Angelo offered a brief apology after listening to days of D'Angelo offered a brief apology after listening to days of pre-sentencing victims' impact statements. He says, "I've listened to all of your statements, each one of them, and I'm truly sorry to everyone I've hurt." In November 2020, D'Angelo was transferred to the North Kern State Prison. As of February 2021, D'Angelo is incarcerated in protective custody at California State Prison in Corcoran. And that was it. Before I go on to before I end this video, I'm gonna give you a hint on the next one I'm gonna be doing. A set of teenagers were supposed to go out with this girl back in 2006, just like hang out or something. Like no, they were supposed to go to the movies, but instead they wound up killing this poor girl. And I think I forgot if they stuffed her in the trunk or left her at home, but they were driving, and one of them called and said, "Oh my God, we just killed blank." It's the "Oh my God, we just killed blank" murders. I don't know if that makes sense, but if it does, if you're allowed to, put it in the comments. Alright, catch you guys in the next video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and peace.